quite a few people here, so I guess we're moving forward, I guess. Okay, let's see what we got here.
Good morning.
Good morning. We got quite a few people here today. Let me hold on and make sure everybody's here. Before we go on the record, I saw that a Rule 11 agreement has been filed regarding the extension of the restraining order and moving forward. After trying to sort out who's who, I noticed that the Rule 11 agreement is missing some of the defendants. I see that 4 have been served by substitute service. 1 I'm still not quite sure about. So just before we get on the record, this Rule 11 agreement is only between Cross Timber Capital, Michael Broder, and the plaintiffs. Is that correct?
That's accurate, Your Honor.
Okay. So we don't have defendants Rahil Baha, Ismail Baha, Razmeed Baha, and EPI Commercial and IBF Properties. I think 4 of them have been served by substitute service. I did not see that they have filed an answer. Is that accurate?
That's right, Your Honor.
Okay, can someone tell me the status of EPI Commercial?
EPI Commercial was served, Your Honor.
They were served?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and I don't show that. That may not have made it to the file yet. When were they served? Do you know?
They were actually the first defendant served through the Secretary of State, I believe.
Okay.
And we can explain more about EPI when we get into this, Your Honor, but it's a fairly new, it was just set up to perpetrate a fraud. So we were able to serve it because, of course, it had to have a statutory agent on file in Delaware where it was formed.
All right.
We were able to serve EPI before anyone else.
Okay. I just want to make sure I've got all the parties at this hearing that should be here. Since that service, have they made an appearance, or have you been in communications with them, filed an answer or anything?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So we don't anticipate them to participate in this hearing today?
We do not.
So as I see it, IBF Properties, EPI Commercial, and the 3 BHAI individuals will not participate today.
That's my understanding, Your Honor. It would be a surprise if they did.
Well, let me ask you this. If the parties that are present have a Rule 11 agreement, do we need to move forward? I would think that, based upon the service of the others, they may have defaulted, but do you still think you need to present the evidence if you've got a Rule 11 agreement? If that's consistent with the parties that are present, do you think we need to move forward with the hearing today? And I'm okay either way.
Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Your Honor, it's entirely up to you. Lee Hart, well, I understand we're not on the record yet and we should do some introductions, but we represent the plaintiff together with Mr. Sparks and Mr. Eisenberg. Judge, whether or not we go forward today with evidence is entirely up to Your Honor. We're prepared to do so to make a record if the court thinks that's necessary, but in our view, we have all the defendants, in our view, have been served at this point. The 2 defendants who've appeared have engaged Mr. Vassar. Mr. Vassar and the plaintiffs have worked out the Rule 11 agreement that you're referring to, and the rest of the defendants haven't appeared in this case. So we would hope that Your Honor would be comfortable going ahead and entering the temporary injunction without going forward. But again, happy to present evidence if that's the court's preference.
Well, why don't we go on the record and we'll get all the announcements. and then we'll make an announcement that 5 of the defendants have been served, but have not appeared and will not participate in this hearing. And then if we can get on the record what the Rule 11 agreement is, I think that covers pretty much what was in the TRO from what I've seen, and then we may be able to conclude that way, unless someone else has some objections and want to offer anything different. How does that sound?
It sounds great to the plaintiffs, Your Honor.
And the defendants? Is that okay?
We have no objection to that, Your Honor.
Okay, very
And
good.
we don't have an objection to no evidence being taken.
Okay, very good. Okay, I see you have a court reporter. Are we ready, Ms. Smith?
Yes, sir, I am if everyone else is ready. I just want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. I'm just going to introduce it as a hearing, correct, everyone?
Well,
For
I'll
the
kind of introduce
the
it for
record.
you. I'll introduce everything for you, and then we'll let the parties announce who they are and who they represent. Okay, let's go on the record now if we can.
Okay, perfect, okay.
This is cause
Perfect.
number DC-22-08482. It's a hearing regarding a temporary injunction, and the style of the case is Benefit Street Partners, Realty Operating Partnership, LP, and BSP of Finance, LLC. They're the plaintiffs. And they versus IBF Properties, LLC, EPI Commercial Finance, LLC, Cross Timbers Capital, Inc., Michael K. Broder, Rahil Bahai, Ishmael Essa Bahai, and Razmi Essa Bahai as the defendants. Okay, well, all the parties that are present, please give announcements for the records, please. Starting with the plaintiff.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jacob Sparks from the law firm of Spencer Fane, appearing for the plaintiffs, Benefit Street Partners, Realty Operating Partnership, LP, and BSP OF Finance, LLC.
And I understand you have some people that are working, or some attorneys with you on this case. Would you please announce for the record as well?
Sure. Good morning, Your Honor. This is Lee Hart from the law firm of Nelson Mullins, Riley, and Scarborough. I'm located in Atlanta, admitted in Georgia, but my ProHack application is pending with Your Honor. We also represent the plaintiffs, Benefit Street Partners, Realty Operating Partnership, LP, and BSP OF Finance, LLC. And with me on the phone in anticipation of the possible introduction of evidence is Benefit Street's head of real estate, Michael Comparato, and the Benefit Street Partners Real Estate's general counsel, Micah Goodman.
Thank you.
And good morning, Your Honor. Jared Eisenberg with Lynn Pinker, Hurst and Schwegman, also counsel for plaintiffs.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I'm David Vassar. I represent two of the defendants in this case, Michael Broder and Cross Timbers Capital, Inc.
Thank you, Mr. Vassar. Someone else was about to speak?
This is Anne Marie Laney Hill. My bandwidth appears low, so I'm not sure if you can hear me. I was trying to get on via phone, but I am also with Spencer Fane in the Houston office for plaintiff.
Thank you.
It occurred to me that I should introduce the other two squares on the screen because they were going to be part of our evidentiary presentation as well. Dane Peterson is a private investigator in Dallas who has been investigating the buys at the request and hire of Benefit Street. And Eileen Canta is with us as well. Eileen is a employer, I suppose at this point, probably former employee of the buys companies, and has personal knowledge of the fraud and the status of the alleged absconding by the buys from Dallas, certainly, and we think the country.
Did I miss anyone? Okay, let the record reflect that Several of the defendants have been served with notice of this lawsuit and are not present during this hearing. And those defendants are IBF Properties, Rahil Bahai, Ismail Essa Bahai, and Razmeed Essa Bahai. The record reflects that they have been served by substitution service. And EPI Commercial, also another defendant, has been served through the Secretary of State. Neither of those 5 defendants are present at this hearing. It's the court's understanding that the parties that are present involving the plaintiffs and defendant Cross Timbers, Capital, and Michael Broder have entered into a Rule 11 agreement. Is that accurate?
That's accurate, Your Honor.
Okay, the plaintiff says that's accurate. Is that accurate, Mr. Vassar?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so said the defendants as well. In lieu of testimony, which it appears that all the parties present have agreed to how the court should proceed in this matter, I will ask at this time that the plaintiff introduce that Rule 11 agreement and explain it, so for the record, with specificity so we know what it includes. And then I will give you an opportunity, Mr. Vassar, to make any additional comments if needed. And if nothing further other than that is needed in the way of evidence, then we'll let the court rule and we will conclude the hearing. Is that okay?
Sure. Yes.
Okay, Mr. Sparks, you want to begin, please?
I'll let Mr. Hart take the Rule 11 agreement, Your Honor. I believe he negotiated that with Mr. Vassar.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Sparks. Good morning, Your Honor. For the record, Lee Hart, Nelson Mullins for the plaintiff. Yesterday afternoon, or I guess yesterday morning, we filed a plaintiffs and defendants, Cross Timbers Capital and Michael Broder, filed a Rule 11 agreement regarding agreement to temporary injunction that we negotiated with defendants Cross Timbers and Michael Broder. The nature of the agreement, Your Honor, is primarily to permit the temporary injunction to be entered on the terms set forth in the agreement, subject to Cross Timbers' ability to exercise its remedies under its Texas deed of trust and under its New Jersey mortgage against its 2 pieces of collateral, and then separately sue its borrowers and guarantor under its loans to the other defendants, which lawsuits could be brought in any court of competent jurisdiction, including this court in this very case, if that is Cross Timbers and Mr. Broder's decision. The quick background on this agreement, Your Honor, is that I'll just refer to the plaintiffs collectively as Benefit Street Partners. Benefit Street Partners is a lender to the defendants, closed a loan on April 18th to defendant IBF Properties LLC in the amount of $149.7 million. That loan is secured by 24 single property, triple net Walgreens locations located in 10 different states. It is that $149.7 million loan that is the subject of the fraud, that is the subject of this lawsuit. Cross Timbers alleges and has produced us documents tending to indicate that they are also lenders to some of Mr. Bai's entities. And so while the plaintiffs, Benefit Street Partners, sued Cross Timbers and Michael Broder due to various statements made to us that indicate that they may have been involved in the fraud that is the subject of the lawsuit, Cross Timbers has asked us to agree to their ability to exercise their remedies against their collateral and Mr. Bai under their separate loan documents. So with that background, the specificity of the agreement is as follows. The temporary injunction that we're requesting would restrain, enjoin, and prohibit the defendants and their officers, agents, servants, employees, and attorneys, and those persons in active concert or participation with those persons who have notice of the temporary, well, the original temporary restraining order and now the temporary injunction by personal service or otherwise, from transferring or dissipating any assets of Rahil Bai, Ismail Bai, and Razmeed Bai, any securities held in various portfolios and Rahil Bai's name at Goldman Sachs & Co. LLC, including certain portfolios identified therein, Any proceeds of Benefit Street Partners' $149.7 million loan, that is the subject of this lawsuit, the $21,906,500 received by and in possession of EPI Cross Timbers, Mr. Broder, or any entity working in concert or participation with any of the defendants, the proceeds of the loan in any Bank of America account under the name of EPI Commercial LLC, and the collateral property, except the collateral property being the 24 Walgreens locations that are collateral for Benefit Street Partners loan. And that is, of course, except to the extent that such transfer may be effectuated through a foreclosure or other transfer by Benefit Street Partners in accordance with its loan documents and applicable law. Now, in connection with that freeze order that we're requesting be turned into a temporary injunction by this court, the parties have agreed that the terms of that freeze do not prohibit or restrict Cross Timbers from foreclosing its collateral that's specified in the Texas Deed of Trust dated April 30th, 2021, executed by an entity called R.A. Capital Addison LLC in favor of Clifford D. Harmon as trustee for the benefit of Cross Timbers, that grants liens and security interests in certain property located in Dallas County, Texas, which is more specifically described in Exhibit A to the Rule 11 agreement, and the mortgage executed on July 11th, 2022 between IBF Retail Properties 3 as mortgagor and Cross Timbers as mortgagee, which grants liens and security interests in certain property located in the county of Cape May, New Jersey, which is more specifically described in Exhibit B attached to the Rule 11 agreement. Further, the temporary injunction would not restrict Cross Timbers from filing suit against IBF Retail Properties 3, R.A. Capital Addison LLC, and or Raheel Bai in any court of competent jurisdiction, which of course could include this lawsuit by way of cross-claim or other appropriate procedural mechanisms. We've also agreed that to the extent that Cross Timbers' foreclosure of any of its collateral brings in sale proceeds in excess of Cross Timbers' credit bid or its designee's credit bid, as the case may be, that those excess proceeds will be placed into the registry of the court and dispersed upon further order of the court. Now, in discussing this with Cross Timbers acknowledged and agreed that it holds no lien on or security interest in and asserts no rights to any of the 24 Walgreens that serve as collateral for Benefit Street Partners' $149.7 million loan to IBF Properties LLC, which is in existence of this lawsuit. And Cross Timbers has specifically stated in the Rule 11 agreement that they do not oppose entry of a temporary injunction under the terms provided herein. And we have been working on a temporary injunction order for Your Honor's review and signature, and we'll be ready to submit that to the court hopefully this morning.
Thank you, Mr. Hart. Mr. Vassar?
That's correct, Your Honor. Mr. Hart and I agreed to that after some negotiation to that Rule 11 this week. Cross Timbers is also an agreed party. Because of the buy's conduct, they have 3 outstanding loans that are delinquent, and this Rule 11 allows Cross Timbers to take action against the buys, notwithstanding the temporary injunction. Unfortunately, we're still defendants in this case. That may be that's an issue for another day that Your Honor may have to decide. But we certainly don't oppose the entry of a temporary injunction, as Mr. Hart described, per the Rule 11 that we signed.
Anything further from any of the other parties? Hearing none, the court takes note of the Rule 11 agreement regarding the actions that will be restrained by the parties that are participants in this particular hearing. In addition, as noted earlier, there are several defendants who are not present. So the court will enter an order reflecting the agreement that has been made by the existing parties in the Rule 11 agreement to temporarily restrain those individuals and their agents who are not present at this hearing. And the court finds that there is reasonable cause to believe that unless these parties are restrained, that the plaintiffs may incur irreparable harm. So Mr. Sparks, if you or Mr. Hart, whoever's going to generate that order, if you will get that to me today, I will get that signed. And anything further?
No, thank you, Your Honor. We'll get that to you today.
And before we get off the record, let's just make sure, are we all in agreement that based upon what we've done here today, that there is no need to have evidence admitted regarding this request for a temporary injunction?
The plaintiffs are in agreement, Your Honor.
Defendants as well, Your Honor. Defendants, Broder and Cross Timbers.
Thank you very much. Anything further, ladies and gentlemen?
Nothing from the plaintiffs. Thank you.
Nothing from my clients.
All right, thank you very much, everyone, and you all have a good day. You all are excused. And get that order to me as quickly as you can, Mr. Hart, okay?
Yes, will do. Thank you, Your Honor. Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Thank you,
Have a
Honor.
good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.